Some Jeep transmissions don't just fail, they drain your wallet. One triggered over 600 federal complaints. Another led to 500,000 plus vehicle recalls. And one of the worst might already be in your driveway. Today, we're breaking down the 3 worst and 4 best Jeep transmissions you can actually own. Watch before yours becomes a $5,000 mistake. Worst. Number 3. The 42 RLE 4-speed automatic. If you drove a TJ or JK Wrangler with an automatic between 2003 and 2011, you already know this pain. The 42 RLE came strapped to the 3.8-liter V6, and Chrysler shipped it with a problem that no dealer visit could ever solve. So what went wrong? The hydraulic pump inside this box is way too small. The second you add bigger tires, bolt on a lift, or tow a trailer, that pump cannot push enough fluid to keep the clutch packs gripping. And when clutches slip, they cook. That heat eats everything. The stock torque converter made the whole situation uglier because Chrysler built it with stamped steel parts that bend under stress. Once that cover flexes, the lockup disc starts grinding, and tiny metal shavings flush straight into your transmission fluid. I have cracked open 42 RLEs at 80,000 miles where the fluid looked like a chocolate milkshake. A simple drain and fill costs about $250 at a shop, but once internal damage kicks in, you are looking at $1,500 to $4,000 for a full rebuild. Want to know the cheapest thing you can do right now if you own one? Bolt on an auxiliary cooler and change that fluid every 30,000 miles. And if you think this gearbox gave Jeep a bad name, wait until you hear what they used to replace the best automatic they ever built. Worst. Number 2. The 42 RE 4-speed automatic. Jeep once had a transmission so good that mechanics called it indestructible, the AW4. And then Chrysler said, we can build something cheaper. That gave us the 42 RE, which went into the 1993 Grand Cherokee ZJ, the WJ after that, and the 1997 through 2002 TJ Wrangler. Millions of people ended up with this box, and a huge number of them ended up paying dearly for it. The weak spot? The overdrive clutch pack sitting in 4th gear. That clutch set wears down faster than everything else in the case. Once it starts going, you get the symptoms every Jeep forum talks about. That annoying hunt between 3rd and 4th gear on the highway, RPMs flaring up for no reason, and a nasty slip when you try to pass somebody at speed. Most 42 REs start acting up between 100,000 and 150,000 miles. Your fluid choice matters way more than you think with this one. The old ATF plus 2 and ATF plus 3 degraded before they even hit 30,000 miles, and that accelerated clutch wear badly. ATF plus 4 performs better, but it cannot reverse damage already done. A rebuild costs $1,500 to $3,500, depending on how much the internals already suffered. Some guys just turn the overdrive button off and live with the screaming RPMs on the highway. But the gearbox I am about to show you at number 1 did something the 42 RE never managed to do. It actually hurt people. Worst. Number 1. The ZF 9-speed 948TE. When a transmission drags its manufacturer into federal court, you know something went seriously wrong. The ZF 9-speed, called the 948TE by Chrysler, dropped into the 2014 Jeep Cherokee KL with a big promise: smooth shifts, better fuel economy, 9 gears of refinement. What Jeep delivered was a gearbox that could not decide which gear it wanted from one second to the other. Owners reported delayed acceleration from a dead stop, random drops into neutral at highway speed, and shifts so harsh your whole body jerked forward. NHTSA collected over 600 complaints on the Cherokee alone, with at least 10 confirmed injuries. 3 of those were drivers who got run over by their own vehicles because the shifter was never properly locked into park. Think about that for a second. Chrysler recalled more than 505,000 vehicles carrying this gearbox. They pushed software patch after software patch, swapped entire units under warranty, reprogrammed modules over and over. The problems kept coming back. A class action case called Millicits vs. FCA now covers 2016 through 2020 Cherokee, Renegade, and Compass owners. Replacing a 948TE through a Jeep dealer will cost you $4,000 to $6,000 with labor. The 2014 and 2015 models carry the biggest risk, and mechanics I know will not recommend any vehicle equipped with this transmission. Those are the three you should walk away from. But the four I am about to show you? Completely different story. And real quick, if this kind of straight talk is saving you money on your Jeep search, hit subscribe right now so you do not miss the engine video dropping soon. With that out of the way, these are the 4 best Jeep transmissions you can actually own. Best number 4. The 545 RFE 5-speed automatic. Most people have never even heard of this one, and that is exactly why it belongs on this list. The 545 RFE went into the 2005 Grand Cherokee WK and the Commander alongside the 5.7-liter Hemi V8. While the entire Jeep community argued over lift kits and axle swaps, this gearbox quietly did its job year after year without anyone needing to think about it. And it has a trick most people do not know about. The 545 RFE runs 5 forward gears in daily driving, but it holds 6 total ratios inside. A hidden gear called 2' activates in tow haul mode. Normal shifting goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but towing swaps it to 1, 2, 2', 3, 4 to keep the engine in its strongest torque band on hills. You can feel the difference immediately. Owners on every major Jeep forum report hitting 200,000 miles on the original gearbox with nothing beyond regular ATF plus 4 changes. When something does go wrong, it is usually the solenoid pack, and that gives you warning signs long before it dies. A solenoid swap runs about $750, and a full rebuild lands between $1,500 and $2,500. If you want a Jeep that can tow a boat on Saturday and commute Monday without drama, a WK with the Hemi and a 545 RFE behind it is a quiet monster. But the one I ranked at number 3 on my best list comes from a time when gearboxes were built like they had to survive a war. Best number 3, the TorqueFlite 32 RH 3-speed automatic. 3 gears, a cast iron case, and an attitude that refuses to die. The TorqueFlite 32 RH went into 1987 through 2002 Wrangler YJs and TJs, and the guys who turn wrenches on their own Jeeps will argue all day that this is the toughest automatic the company ever shipped. Why? Because it traces its DNA back to the Chrysler A904 from the 1960s. 6 solid decades of engineering packed into one unit. Jeep owners on the forums talk about pulling full-size trucks out of sand with a 32 RH-equipped TJ and expecting the axles to snap long before the transmission even notices. Others have run past 200,000 miles with nothing but basic fluid changes. No rebuild, no slipping, no complaints. One guy described it as a transmission where the rest of the vehicle falls apart around it, while the gearbox keeps shifting like it rolled off the line yesterday. When a rebuild becomes necessary, simplicity works in your favor. A professional shop charges about $1,000 to $1,500. Grab a DIY kit for roughly $500 and you can knock it out over a weekend with hand tools. The one downside is the missing overdrive gear, so your engine spins higher on the highway and drinks more fuel. But for a trail rig or weekend wheeler, nothing in the Jeep lineup comes close. And number 2 on my best list borrowed its guts from Mercedes-Benz. Best number 2, the NAG 1W5 A580 5-speed automatic. There was a brief window when Chrysler and Mercedes shared a boardroom, and Jeep owners got a gift most of them did not even realize. The NAG1, also known as the W5 A580, is built on the Mercedes 722.6 platform. It showed up in the 2005 through 2010 Grand Cherokee WK, and later in the 2012 through 2018 JK Wrangler. Mercedes designed the 722.6 for heavy luxury sedans that weigh way more than any Jeep. So when Chrysler bolted it behind a Grand Cherokee motor, the transmission was working at half effort every day. Over-engineered for the application, which is the exact recipe for a gearbox that lasts forever. Regular maintenance with MB236.14 fluid keeps these rolling well past 200,000 miles. A fluid and filter service costs about $300 at a shop. If something does act up, it is almost always the conductor plate inside the valve body, which handles all the electronic shift signals. That repair runs around $400 to $600, and once replaced, the transmission goes right back to shifting like it did on day one. JK Wrangler owners love this gearbox because it replaced the headache 42RLE. 5 smooth forward gears, solid overdrive for highway cruising, and enough strength for trail abuse. Find a JK with a NAG1 behind the 3.6-liter Pentastar, and you are looking at one of the best combos Jeep ever shipped. But my number one pick shares its internals with Toyota, and that changes everything. Best number 1. The Eisenwerner AW4 4-speed automatic. Ask any mechanic who works on Jeeps which automatic they trust the most, and the answer comes back the same every time: the AW4. AMC teamed up with Borg-Warner to design it in the mid-1980s, and Aisin manufactured it in Japan, the same Aisin that builds for Toyota. The AW4 shares internal components with the Aisin 450-43LE that Toyota used in their off-road trucks. This gearbox went into the 1987 through 2001 Cherokee XJ, paired with a legendary 4.0-liter inline-6. That pairing is the reason XJs are still everywhere today, 25 years after production ended. At my shop, nobody has ever rebuilt an AW4 from normal wear. Junkyards throw out low-mileage AW4s because nobody needs a replacement. They just do not fail. Owners report running these past 326,000 miles without any transmission work at all. People have overheated them until fluid blew out the vent tube, driven through deep water crossings with mud contaminating the oil, and towed way beyond the rated capacity. The AW4 kept shifting clean through all of it. If heat becomes a concern, a $100 external cooler fixes it. Rebuilds cost between $800 and $1,200, and Level 10 sells performance kits rated for nearly 800 horsepower, which is insane for a gearbox from a family SUV. If you spot a Cherokee XJ with this transmission and a healthy 4.0 under the hood, buy that thing before someone else does. Those are the Jeep transmissions that will burn your wallet and the ones that will run until the wheels fall off. Which ones have you owned? Tell me your story in the comments. I will go through every one. And if you want to know which Jeep engines deserve your money and which ones do not, that breakdown is on screen right now. If any transmission on this list caught you off guard, tell me your story in the comments. And if you want more straight talk like this, hit the subscribe button and tap the video on your screen right now. See you in the next one.